Hey everybody, it's Paul from Stretching Canada. It's Wednesday. Yesterday we did the stretches for the pecs, opening up the shoulder girdle in the front, opening up the shoulder girdle in the back. And now I want to continue with that through into the arms, elbows, wrists, and fingers and thumbs. So let's start with the clavicular attachment. Yesterday, the attachment of the pec comes here and then spans down in through to the length of the sternum. And now, if I get you to just stand, you can just on your out breath, just gently brace, bring those ribs together and bring your arm to about your shoulder height and drop down about 10 degrees or 15. And then from there, internally rotate this whole cylinder so you're spiraling the humerus and the entire arm with it. And on your out breath, reach back. So now we're exposing this line here. And anterior deltoid as well. And we're going to get a little bit more of that as we go along today. 4 and 5. And if you're up against the wall, you can start here and then push against the wall. But right now, this is enough. I can feel a difference. I can feel a real discrepancy, left to right. But again, there's no judgment. I'm just sort of monitoring whatever progress I made. I'm going to meet myself where I'm at and then add to that, and then 5. And the second set we'll do bilaterally. So again, arms to shoulder height, internally, or spiral those arms in so your palms are facing back. And now bracing the front so that you're not doing this. Not wrong, it's just not focusing here anymore. So 1. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm really going further on one side than I am on the other. And I'm going to attribute it to, I'm guessing, the extra kettlebell work that I've been doing to try and sort of stabilize my low back and my trunk. 5. Yeah, so again, there's no judgment. I'm sort of wandering into how I'm going to fix this, but I'm just noticing it and I'm going to move on from there. So from this clavicular attachment to the pectorals, I'm going to move into the bicep. So there's 2 phases to this. Short head, which comes up into the coracoid process of the scapula, and then long head, which comes up through along the humerus, the humeral head into the glenoid fossa. So if I point here, palm back, and then coming through this sort of sagittal plane, for now, we're gonna change that, but for now, short head is here. 1, 2, and again, I'm bracing. 1, 2. Sometimes I'll try and, I tend not to do that. I've done it in the past, but it doesn't really help. So I'm just going to stick with this. 4 and 5. Try not to overcomplicate things. And 1, 2. So now I can really feel a difference from my right to my left. And again, at home, just try and monitor where you are. Monitor the success of each stretch, and then reach up a little bit more. And 5. And of course, if you have something that's high enough, like let me just move this to a place where you can actually see where I would go, say in a door frame. I would do this. This is sort of with the palm back, thumbs down. I can add that, or I can grab the inside of the door, palm kind of forward, thumb up. And then feel the difference between the short head and the long head. Anyway, that's how I would assist that. With legs wide apart and like we were doing yesterday with the pec stretch, you're using your body weight and the control of your legs and your hips to assist that stretch. So here we've done short head, and now we're going to go do long head, palm back. 1 and 2. 1, 2. 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5. So now we can continue that from this palm forward to palm back, long head, to thumb back, long head, and enter your deltoid, and do that same action. And you can do it unilaterally, 1, 2, and the unilateral on both sides, or you can do that internal rotation, palms back, but if you start here with your hands clasped and then internally rotate, so your palms are facing down in a way, and I tend to bring my thumbs together and try and reach them to the ceiling. However, if you can maintain your erect posture so you're not bending at the waist and just focus on those deltoids and long heads. If I bend forward, it doesn't really change anything for me. And I get a lot more concentration in that stretch here. And if you start here, like if you can't do this and you start here, perfectly acceptable. And over the next 4 or 5 or 6 stretches, in increments, just slowly each one try and gain some new new rotation. So you're going from here to here to here to here, and then slowly coming up with that. So gradualism is going to get you further than trying to force yourself through a stretch. Let me go back to the bicep short head. If I bring my arm to my side and actually allow my palms to face my body, my legs, if I come up to the side and back at 45 degrees, I'm going to, let's say, start with my hand on my back pocket and reach up and away at 45 degrees. So I'm kind of coming towards you and behind me, but at 45 degrees. And what that does is it opens and exposes that coracobrachialis, which is sort of a bringer-inner of the arms, an adductor of the arms, and a little bit of an internal rotator. So when we get into these postures, and no matter what we do, whether we're driving or doing dishes or holding a baby or carrying groceries or doing our weights, we're kind of internally rotated, which creates that anterior flexion. I'm exaggerating, of course, but that's what I mean. So we can open that up, and sometimes I'll even add rotation, so really exposing that coracobrachialis. And I'm trying not to do, looking at the camera and I'm doing the same thing I'm asking you not to do, which is compensate with the structural, with my bony structure. I'm trying to face the direction I'm looking at, and only the arm comes out to the side and back. And then 5. So, same thing bilaterally for the second set. And you can go looking for angles, what pulls the most, what feels the best, and try not to bounce, but I'm just sort of looking for the right angle. 5, okay. So, short head, and deltoid with the thumb facing back, palm forward, palm back, thumb back, and then hand in your back pockets and reaching behind you at 45 degrees for that coracobrachialis. So now we've done bicep. Let's get into the tricep. And you can help yourself, but by just pulling on your elbow. But I tend to have these lying around. Of course, I have rope and yoga strap. I've got all kinds of things lying around here, like I do at the clinic. But if you don't have those things, your towel or a pair of jeans for that matter. And now I'm just going to grab this behind me like this so I can help myself. And as you come up, if you can't come up in the front, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what angle you get. You can't get a wrong angle, as I keep saying. But just, again, meet yourself where you're at. And if it comes up at 45 degrees, so be it. That's great. 1, 2. Now for me, that's just too easy. So I'm going to add some challenge to that and come down the front. So my first one, I was coming at 45 and reaching away from myself at 45. And now I'm able to come elbow more to the front and reaching further down the back. Again, bracing in the front, so I'm not hyperextending in the back. Bracing the front and then from this side it looks like 3. And just assisting at the end with this towel. 5. So this side's a little bit more restricted and I can't get to the front. So I'm going to start at 45 degrees and there's definitely some restriction from something. I'm going to blame it on the extra kettlebell workouts I'm getting for free from Kettlebell Club or Luca Cursor's work. Or again from the side, it's like 1, 2 bracing in the front, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm just starting to feel it release from that agonist contraction. So that's the triceps. So before I go any farther, what do I have here? Let's get some strength. Here, these will work. I bought these to give to there's a shelter that needs food, and I just bought something. I would never eat this, but who knows? Shelters are shelters and they need food. So if I'm holding the cans like this, almost like with my palms up like I was when I was coming palms forward, reaching back, I'm going to do the same thing, but I want to expose those biceps. I'm going to come up at about 45 degrees. 1, 2. I'm not sure how much this weighs. I'm not trying to challenge myself too much. I'm not going to go for 4, 5, 6, or 8 pounds. I'm just going to do what is 796 milliliters weigh. Feels like about 1.5 pounds. 4 and 5. And then let's think about this as emptying these cans. So now I'm getting these long head and deltoids up again at 45 degrees. So I'm really just trying to expose this long head. So it's a bit more specific to those muscles. And the deltoid, of course. And 5. So that's going to be for the bicep. And for the tricep, it can be, again, locking out here in proximal with the arm open. And then you can get to here and do distal. Again, we just want to activate the muscle so the muscle's being released, open, optimized, and oxygenated, and then used, but not challenged to a point where they're fatiguing right away. We can get to that another day, so put that back in the donation box. So from here, let's move on to down the arm to the pronator and supinator of the arm. So it's really, let's go supination first. So supination is this, and I'm going to assist here. Maybe I should do this. So you can see, I'm supinating, and I'm going to grab my hand, my forearm bones. We don't really need to know the names, but just here at your wrist. So you're not just grabbing your wrist and rotating and hauling on your wrist. So I'm kind of pulling with my fingers, but I'm pushing with my thumb. So supinate, and then push and pull. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And 1, 2. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then we're going to go to the pronation. So we're opening the supinators that we just used. So here, I'm going to keep my elbow at my side because as soon as I push here and pull here, what's going to happen is this, I'll exaggerate it. I'm going to do this and I'm losing the stretch here. So I'm going to hold that there, and then 1, 2. So I don't know, can you see that? Pushing here and pulling here. So push, pull, 1, 2. Oh, I just did what I told you not to do. So push, pull, 1, 2. Let's do 5. 2, 3. Or you can just grab your wrist like that. 4. And 5. So I'm feeling this through here, these little square muscles that are there. This is the supinator, and these are the pronators. So let's go back to the other side. What did I do? Oh yeah, I'm doing pronation. So I'm getting these supinators. 2, whoop, I did it again. 3. And I can really feel the difference when I sort of wander out. It's like there's just no stretch. I don't understand why I'm doing this until I bring my elbow back. 4 and 5. So how would I, let's see, I should have planned this out. Oh, I know. I have all kinds of things now that I look at it, and I do these every once in a while. I have this great swag that I got from Modus Health when I taught there in Sudbury a little while ago. Or, whatever you've got lying around the house is a pepper mill. It's not very heavy because there's nothing in it. So here, I'll just show you because it's a bit more graphic. If I'm lying on my side, or I can just do this here. I'm holding my elbow at 90 degrees, and I'm just supinating, lifting the weight of about 30 peppercorns. And again, come to think of it, it's really just the action. We're just trying to activate those muscles. We're not trying to break them down to make them, bigger and stronger. I just want to activate them in an isolated way. And then we'll get the pronators. Whatever range you can get. And 5. And then let's say, whatever you've got, really just whatever weighs like a half a pound or a pound. And then we're going to get into the thumbs and the fingers. So from here, let's go back. Sorry about the camera work, guys. Pronator, supinator. And then, so from here, I'm going to get you to drop your your arm straight. And the only reason I'm up here this high, you can be down here to do this. I'm just doing it so you can actually see what I'm doing. So my arm is at just below shoulder height and I'm reaching down. Now the key here is that we need to keep the elbow locked, because if the elbow is bent, well, the fingers kind of start up, the wrist extensors and flexors start up here above the elbow. So we need to lock that out, drop that down, and 1, 2. Try that. Let's do 5 here. 3, and my whole hand is over my hand. If you can't, try not to just pull on the finger so you're just getting the tendons. 4 and 5. But I'll come down to where I usually am. If I'm working on a computer and all this is getting tight, I'll just drop my arms down and I'll do this. So you don't actually have to be up here. It is a bit more intense when you come up because you're involving different muscles. 3, 4, it feels so good. 5, and then we're going to go into extension with the wrist. So it's the same thing, pulling on the, opening up the flexor muscles. So you're extending back, hand over your whole hand, so not just pulling on your fingers. And again, you'll just feel that in here. So whatever you can get, and then I'm going to come back down to a more reasonable height with my shoulder. 2. And even though it looks like I'm just doing this, I'm still actually actively reaching back. 4 and 5, and then 1. 4 and 5. So we'll stick with those for now, and then let's see. I'm going to do the thumbs. I want to get into strengthening right after this. So let's go straight to the thumb. So we're not doing all of the fingers. You can get into individual fingers and do 5 of each of those. But for now, let's just open up the rest of the arm, which involves wrist and then thumb. So your thumb is going to come. You see that? Actually, it doesn't even have to be inside your fingers. You can be here, drop that down, and assist here. 1, 2. 1, 2. I just find that it's easier here. 1, 2. And it's a bit more intense. 1, 2. And 4 and 5. Now here, because the thumb doesn't come up above the elbow, you can do that here. And let's do 5 over here. But I do tend to keep my arms straight, so whatever's comfortable for you. And 5. And then the adductor muscle. So these are the pollicis, brevis and longus. And now, just to show you this, if I go from here, this is really a brevis. If I go an internal deviation, I'm getting more of this longus muscle. So you can add that to your stretch. But for the sake of time, I'm going to make like a little stop sign, and then 1, 2. Full range, close it, open it, breathe it out. Close it, open it. And again, you can be down here to do that. There's another version of this, and I'll do that on the other hand. This is 5. So from here, I can just flop that over and reach underneath and really just make it a little bit more concentrated version of the same stretch. 3, 4, and 5. And then to strengthen that, hang on one sec. You can do the ball, squeezing the ball, but try and keep your thumbs. I tend to do it like this, so I'm bringing my thumb and my baby finger together. So I'm really, what I just stretch with these adductors and opponents muscles. And if I keep my fingers straight like this and not get into a claw, because then I'm getting into these muscles, try and keep your fingers straight and squeeze them together. So I'm really doing this action, but not this. So this, you can see these muscles working and squeeze. You can do that with just your finger there, just squeeze your finger. So that's for the thumb. The flexor muscles. Let's see, I've got a bazillion of these things lying around my super high-tech elastic band, so I can get back into the pollicis muscles. I'm just going to grab the elastic band like this. Oh, I'm in the shadow here. And I can sort of grab this and make it, I can just go into this and work all the extensor muscles, or just the thumb on its own. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So those are the strengthening units. Now we did the the supinator and pronator. The same thing can apply for the flexor digitorum. Just doing that with a pound, or this is Modus's water bottle, awesome water bottle by the way. What else do I have? Like a thermos, a very big, like a camping thermos, and I just grab the handle of it and do that. And then the other side of that would be, this, just an isolated movement. A little bit like with the elastic band, but really getting into the extensor muscles. So that's the protocol for today. So if you're experiencing these, these stretches and they're having a positive effect on you, let me know, or let others know so they can join. And if this virus isolation thing is really affecting you in other negative ways, stress shows up in really funny ways, and it can really kind of take time for us to adapt. And if you're finding that your stress is creating headaches, maybe that can be resolved with some stretching and strengthening. But also if it starts to filter into sleep loss or appetite loss, maybe there's something else going on. And it's important to monitor this and know that there are people out there that are available for you to talk. There's lots of websites that are presented by our Canadian government that you can go to and talk to people, hotlines, online postings that you can chat with somebody and the professionals. But if you really just want to, if you don't feel like you need, those professional resources that the Canadian government can offer, feel free to contact me or call anybody. Just reach out to somebody and say, I'm not having a bad day, but I'm having a hard time adapting to this, and I just needed to talk to somebody. The physical contact is missed terribly, so feel free to reach out. And I'm here on Facebook every day. And you can get me by messenger. So anyway, I hope everybody's taking care of themselves. I hope you're all safe. Hope you're all well. And my love goes out to all of you. And I hope you have a great day. Peace out. Paul from Stretching Canada.